Start seated and relaxed. I'm leaning back. First, I'm going to flex my feet and make sure that I can keep my legs flat on the floor. If you sit up and your legs bend, then lean back, flatten them out, and start over. You're going to stay there. Even if you never inch forward, as long as your legs are straight, you feel the stretch in your hamstrings, you're making improvements. And of course, you can lean as far forward as this or further. When I'm really warm, I can go even further. And when we're not so warm, we can't go quite as far. That's why we need to warm up before we stretch at all. Just hold for several big breaths. You want to breathe slow and deeply, and with every exhale, you should be able to get a little bit deeper. You're going to lean on one arm, bend one leg underneath you, and the top leg you're going to grab onto the top of the foot. You're going to keep your shoulder out of your ear. You see how on my shoulder where I'm leaning on my elbow, the shoulder is not crammed up into my ear, but I'm lifting my body. Now, after I've held the stretch for a few breaths, I'm going to lower and raise my knee here. If you see my lips moving, it's because my son came in and tried to ask me something about a TV show right here. And I'm going back up, back up. All right, so straighten out the leg that was on the bottom. You want to cross the top leg over, stretch your hip a little bit. I grab on with the opposite arm of the bent knee. I lift my chest, straighten my back, and look over my back shoulder. Notice how I try to keep my foot flat on the floor there. Now I'm going to switch to the other side. Same thing. Lean on one leg. The shoulder of the arm that I'm leaning on is not cramped up in my ear, but I'm keeping my chest lifted, always practicing good posture. It's not important that you get the heel to touch the booty here. What's important is that we're opening up the hip and stretching our hip flexor. And again, once I've held it for a few breaths, I can take the knee towards the floor and back up to the ceiling. Your range of motion might be quite a bit smaller. You might be moving barely at all. If you are very inflexible, don't worry about that. Doesn't have to look just like me. Other side, we're going to take the leg, cross over, grab the knee with the opposite arm, and twist your chest. You can't see my foot here, but it is flat on the floor. And throughout this stretch, you should be trying to make that foot sit flat on the floor. I'm going to move into the ballerina pose. I'm slouching at first because I need to get my legs flat and my toes pulled back towards my face, and then I'm going to start to straighten out my back. I only lean forward as much as I can without the legs lifting off the floor. The second I can no longer keep my legs still and they need to lift, that is where I will stop. And of course you can just keep going as much as you can. Again, my knees are not lifting, my legs are fairly relaxed right here. Pay attention to my back because I'm going to come back to this and we'll see if I can get my back a little bit straighter. I'm going to lean over to one side and I'm going to grab the outside of the leg with the opposite arm, and then I turn my head like I'm listening to my knee and look underneath my armpit. This is where you can start. You can move your arm out and go as far as grabbing on your toes, and I'm trying to twist my chest towards the camera here. Hopefully one day you'll be able to see both of my shoulders whenever I do this. And then I slowly come out of the stretch after a few deep breaths. Again, don't forget, as you exhale, you should be able to get deeper into the stretch. I'm grabbed onto the outside of my leg here. And same thing, start closer to your knee, and as you become more flexible, you can roll open and reach further towards the toes. On this side, you can see my bottom shoulder. Everyone has a good side and a bad side. And now I'm going to come back to the middle and see if I can, yes, and I believe that I am a little bit lower. My back is a little bit straighter there in the middle. I'm going to pull everything in and sit as comfortably as possible. Relax the hips, relax the shoulders. You want to reach one hand between the shoulder blades. The other arm is going to reach overhead, grab the elbow, and help to lift the chest. Don't think so hard about pulling the elbow back towards the wall behind you, but think more about lifting the chest, and with your deep, deep breaths, you're going to push against your rib cage from the inside so that all the muscles on your torso want to stretch, your upper torso. Big breaths. Always hold your head where you're comfortable. Here I'm just going to reach the arms straight out from the shoulders, flip one hand to the sky, and very slowly lean towards the opposite arm. You see here I caught myself in the mirror and I had to straighten out my hands until they were perfect and I could not see my thumb or my pinky. Very flat hands. I was very tired when I made this video. Everything up, come back into the middle. Again, shake everything out, let everything relax. You're just going to drop your chin into your chest and very slowly roll your head side to side. Take one ear over the shoulder, pull the chin in, and take the other ear over the other shoulder. Very slowly, thinking about the shoulders just sort of dripping towards the floor here. And that's it.